What if I'm making out a profile? We'll put money and aesthetic aside. What traits do you want to hear? What do you want to, like, stuff that maybe guys wouldn't think would be good, but you may respond to, like loving animals or something. Like, I probably wouldn't say that unless I was trying to get laid. But what are?
I don't think that would help you get laid.
It wouldn't.
That wouldn't make me want to have sex.
What would you look for? What would you look for on the profile?
Golf enthusiast. Just kidding.
Well, for me, first of all, I always tell people that they have to update their profile pictures because no one wants to see these ridiculous photos anymore of men or women with zoo animals, right? Because I think we've seen enough of those. Those are really dumb. And there's way too many of them. You always see people with a tiger or, with some baby koala or whatever. I think those are overplayed and stupid. And I just don't think they get you anywhere. I mean, I don't know.
I totally agree. Everybody who goes to Thailand who takes a picture at the ass end of a drugged animal, I don't know why they think that's going to get them laid. It is ridiculous. You also can get chlamydia from koala bears. Rachel, I couldn't agree with you more.
How about
dolphins rape people?
How about riding a dolphin? That wouldn't work?
Dolphins rape people. How many times have I said this on the show? And it's underreported because nobody wants to admit they've been raped by a dolphin.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'd play that pretty close to the vest.
It's a good point.
All right. So update the picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Now what characteristics are we looking for?
Right. So keywords, I mean, I would say that you have to be honest about whether or not you want someone who's a family man or someone who's a party animal, right? So I want to date someone who has kids because I have a child and I think it's important, right? So I would look for somebody who puts in keywords about family or kids because that's something important to me. But if somebody wants someone who's single and who likes to go to Miami and parties and goes to Vegas, they should look for those keywords. So I think keywords are really important. But I do think that it's important to spend time looking at someone's profile, but funny is important to me. Listen, people go on different sites based on, also, let's talk about it, economic bracket, right? I mean, money means something to people, so we should put it out there. And it doesn't mean we're not talking about gold diggers here, but I think it's important to say that no one wants to date the loser in the corner that doesn't have any motivation and doesn't have a job. No one wants to date that person. So no one should be ashamed of saying that because the first, someone might ask if someone was being set up on a date, they're going to say, oh, is he cute? But they're also going to say, well, what does he do for a living? People used to go on JDate because they wanted to date an accountant or a dentist or whatever, right? Or people go on The League because they want to make sure that, they were dating somebody that went to an Ivy League school, right? So people go on Seeking Arrangement because they want to know that the person can pay for this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
What about, now here's a theory. All right. Okay. So everyone loves a sense of humor, but everyone says, I have a sense of humor. I like to laugh, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't really prove you're funny or have a sense of humor. Everyone says,
everyone thinks they're funny.
Yeah. Everyone says, I love music, but that could be Dixieland. You know what I mean? It might not be what your version of jazz. I said I had this conversation a million years ago with Bob Ringwald, who's Molly Ringwald's dad, and this is what I was 16. I was standing in his backyard. They used to live up the street, and it made me realize when I was 15 or 16, like how different people are. So he said to me, "I love jazz, and I love comedy." And I said, I love jazz and I love comedy as well. And then he said, I love Dixieland and Gallagher. And I went, oh, yeah, that's how different. I was picturing.
I wasn't lying.
I was picturing jazz trumpet and I was picturing George Carlin. But anyway.
He was ahead of the curve on creating a profile because he massaged it to sound much better than it was.
I know. He was blind and then I pushed him in the pool. But I think he's still blind. The point is this. Everyone says, oh, I got a sense of humor. I love a sense of humor. Like, I love to laugh, but you may not be very funny. should we try to be funny in the profile?
Yes. You should put it out there. Like I say right out there, I'm a country music fan, or I like Daryl Hall and John Oates, but I'm not going to listen to Metallica and all your other bullshit that you like. I won't listen to it. I won't go to Soul Cycle. Trump fans don't apply. Like I'll say that shit right out there. Sorry,
Right.
Can I curse?
Go ahead.
Please.
And so I will say that right out there. Do not write me if you are X, Y, and Z. Because again, I don't want to go on a date and waste time getting my hair blown out and not go to the gym the next morning because I've gone out on a date till 12 o'clock. If I'm going to sit across the table from someone and listen to their life story and then find out that, they don't like some sort of, music that I like
But
or
it's
whatever
still,
it is.
it's
right?
still not really answering the question, which is, should you try to be funny in your
Yes.
profile? In it.
Yes, you should. Yes,
Like,
don't just say you're a comedian. Yeah, no, say that you have a foot fetish, whatever it is. Sure.
All right.
What Rachel's
Totally.
talking about is getting all that first date shit out of the way before the first date. All the getting
Yes,
to know
say
you
it.
stuff
Say-
is the more efficient way of doing things.
Yeah. Say you like to say your mother pays your credit card bills. Say, get it out there. Say what your negative is.
I love
Say-
vivisection.
Yeah.
I'm putting
No.
it out there. Get
Yeah.
it out. If you don't
Because
like
somebody
animals
might
being
find it-
tortured, then step
Yeah.
off. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the verification thing, Rachel. So the one thing I'm still curious about is, let's say someone goes on there and is like, I'm wealthy, I'm a successful podcast host, I own many Paul Newman cars. How
Yeah.
do you verify that information so some girl doesn't get duped? Or guy, I guess, either way.
Well, there's no way to say to verify whether or not the guy makes $100 million, right? He could check the box that says that he makes that. And that's sort of ridiculous. What can be verified is the background check, right? That there are background checks that can be done for people and those kind of things. So people, and on all online dating sites, background checks can be done, and people need to be very careful when they are meeting people or looking through people's profiles to make sure that they are doing their due diligence. And if a background check is important, that they're only responding to and talking to the people that are background check verified. So that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is you got to just be careful that you are smart and talking to people that, anyone can say anything about themselves. I can say that I have 5 homes and a yacht and whatever, and that I'm 6 foot tall and sultry and whatever, anyone can say anything, and then they can show up. Here's the other thing. People, sorry, just spool back to what you're saying. People can put on a profile picture from college and make themselves 10 pounds thinner and then show up and they're clearly not, right? So I'm not sure why people will make themselves out to be someone that they're not and then will show up as $100 million less well off than they are. I mean, that person is clearly an idiot because they are representing themselves to be someone much bigger than they are, and they will always fail, right? So you would hope you're not talking to somebody that sets themselves up for failure. So because they will never be.
It's a bit of a
that person.
zero-sum game. You're not going to go anywhere if you portray yourself as this and show up as that.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, I think it's a
you'll
lot-
get the sense from talking to them of who they are.
It's a lot like the picture. I mean, how long is that going to last when you guys go out to dinner? I mean, eventually they're going to be looking across the table at this version of you. Gina, yes.
Adam, please tell Rachel what you think should go in all dating profiles when it comes to men's sincerity and women's sincerity. If you don't remember, I'm happy to jump in.
Please, I don't.
Adam feels that all women should, in their profile picture, be on a scale with a newspaper from that day, so we all know where we stand. But all men should be against a 7-Eleven height chart with a copy of what's in their bank account.
Yes, and you also had the
That's
great idea of
hysterical.
having your ex write your dating profile.
Oh,
that's
yes.
a great idea.
Everyone should just, because the ex is going to, we don't need to talk to you. You're going to,
I always
Embellish.
do say,
Mm.
I do always say, what would your ex say is your best quality and your worst quality?
Oh,
Mhm.
And I do ask, how many girls think you're dating them?
Oh, that's
Yeah, because I do say to men, how many girls are you dating? They say none. And I say, but how many girls think you're dating them? Because it's a different answer.